Good morning. It is round 4 at PFI of the Karting Championships. We've been out once already, didn't have time to do the intro. But before we start, just a few thanks. One is thank you very much to our subscribers. We hit 10,000 subscribers last night. And also 60% of our viewers don't subscribe. So 60% is a huge impact to us. So please, if you watch our videos, give us a subscribe, give us a like, it really appreciates us. So this is day 1, it's practice with out 6 times.
I think so.
6 times. We're going to do a bit of mechanicking for you today through the questions on our Zenico chat. So we do them and get them videoed. Other than that, we're hoping for a good practice day and we'll see how we get on. So enjoy the video. So this is our second test of today. We've already got our basic setup that we know we need to use. So obviously we got that from testing last Friday. So we put that setup on the kart and then I'm not touching it. So we're not going to touch that setup for at least 3 tests to see where we come timing wise, because it's all about your driver learning the track rather than setting up the kart so much. So as long as you've got the basic setup right, you should be good, because if you start changing setups too much, then that affects the way the car handles and you don't know whether your driver's getting better or the kart's getting better. So 2 to 3 of the same setup, unless something's drastically wrong, that's how you learn a new track. And after that, as a mechanic, I will start changing things. The only thing I will play with on those first 2 or 3 is tyre pressures to find the most comfortable tyre pressure. But I'll do another bit in this video later on about tyre pressures. So hope that helps. Zach's now on track. So what I do basically as a mechanic and a dad is I use my Prisma and I will find the quickest person out there. Hopefully that's Zach, but it's not going to be. And I will basically time that quickest person and then time Zach as well. And I will see roughly where we are. So I'll wait for Zach to come through, wherever he is. Okay, so I've started his time in there. And then what I'll probably do is, I think Elijah Hazelwood's in the front and Elijah's quick, so he's got no one slowing him down, so I'll then time Elijah and I'll see how far Zach is off that. So here comes Elijah coming round, I've got my Prisma set, I'm going to have a massive time there. Do this for this whole test and I'll know roughly where we are. So you get your feedback from your driver, and obviously I get feedback for the mechanic and dad doing their lap times to see how he's sitting in the pack, and that will give us an idea of qualifying times for tomorrow. But then this is junior and everything can change. Right, so that's session 2 done. As I say, I was doing the timings. I think Zach might have been quickest out on track on that session, but so he's definitely feeling it, but the weather's good, the setup's good. So again, I was getting his feedback, see what he says, but if he comes back and says everything's all fine, then I won't touch anything on the kart, just throw him back out again. How's that, Zach?
Good.
Good? Is that the feedback I've got? It's good. That's better than feedback we used to get when it's shit. So if it's good, it's good. It all depends on what track you're at about tyre pressures. So PFI, the track is quite smooth. So there's the temperatures of the tyres don't get as hot as they would do on the rougher track like Walden or Wilton. So obviously at PFI we're going to run a much higher tyre pressure. When we was at Shellington, we was probably lowest was down, it was about 6-7 psi, whereas here we almost double that because it all depends on the track. So tyre pressure wise, it all depends on the track. So speak to people who race that track regularly, they'll give you a rough idea of tyre pressures. And the other thing we do is when he comes in is obviously get the hot tyre pressures. You need that to know where your tyre's sitting. So the Prisma does that for you. So you basically set it to tyre memory mode and just go around and hit the memory and it will tell you exactly the hot tyre pressures of Zach's kart when he comes in. And then what I also do is when he does come in like this, if they're out massively either side, I will match them. So basically, like for example there, this tyre's coming at 17.3, that's 16.7. So I will drop that to 16.7 to match. There we go. That's tyre pressures, how you do when you come in. So, hope that helps you. Right, another question we've had is how to learn tyre wear. I'm no expert on tyre wear, I've got a rough idea, but I'm joined by someone who is. Introduce yourself, buddy.
Hey, my name's Billy. I'm team manager here at X-Kart and workshop stuff and mechanic or whatever. Pretty much do it all. And yeah, we'll try and run you for a bit and yeah, see what you think.
Let's have a look. Okay, so we've just come back in from a test session, so let's get the camera onto the tyre, show what they look like currently. So these are a new set of sticks we put on basically on the last session. So these are your tyre indicators, aren't they?
Yeah, so these just judge how old and how much tyre wear or how much tyre the wear has, how much wear the tyre has.
Yep.
But as you can see, we've got like, it looks like sort of like wet sand, is what I explain it like.
Yeah.
If you see it on the camera. That means we've got some rear slide going on. So
Okay.
that's just a rubber binding up on one side like that. So we've got a bit of rear slides. You can see some sort of blistering happening as well, which means we're probably slightly too high. It needs to come down maybe about half a pound to the next one, just to try and stop the bubbling. That basically means we're overheating slightly. But yeah, other than that.
Okay, so you can tell basically from the tyre that you can see that Zach's got a rear slide on the go, and we've got some slight bubble, which means that our pressures are too high. So anything else about, so these tyre indicators, when they start going down, is obviously when you've got new slicks on, they're far better.
Yeah.
You know, how many laps before a tyre starts to lose its grip?
Probably about, if you have like quality brand new, probably 30-40 laps.
And they start dropping?
And it's pretty dead after that. From in the bin really, after like that many times. So once you've done like a weekend,
Well, you see, this is why you see so many tyres on eBay or karting things of people selling tyres. Yes, they're okay for practicing. We will run these tyres after today. They've just done a day's test. We will run them again for another test. But a lot of teams will sell these on for normally about 30 to 50 quid a set of tyres. When you think a set of tyres are what, the 205, I think, currently for Mojos, 204, 205 for Mojos. So you can buy them second hand. Problem with second hand tyres though is it's not the same. But if you look after seat time and that's all you want, then absolutely get some second hand tyres. But if you're championship racing, then you need to start strapping on new sticks when you're testing because it mimics qualifying and that's what you need. Well, Billy, thanks very much, buddy. I hope that helps you and answer your question. We get on to the next mechanic and tip next.
Okay, so this time, under advice, Zach's finally agreed to go out near the front for his practice. He keeps going out near the back and then gets stuck in traffic, so we've just said, you know, to make a change, go out and stick to the front, see how you get on. Okay, so I've come back to the lounge. Zach's out on a practice, and I'm making the most of this panoramic view right now around that bend.
Right, okay, so we just come back in for that session. So let's talk about ride heights, another question we've had on our Instagram chat. So your ride height is basically the height the front of the kart sits to the ground. So when you look at your ride height, so if I get this off, you bring the camera around this side enough. Okay, so you can see you've got washers in here. So this ride height, I've lowered it down on the last session, because in the previous session, Zach's back was sliding out. So what I've done, I've basically, as you can see on that previous bit on the camera, is that I've lowered the ride height by having the two washers right at the bottom. What that basically does is it reduces the amount of steer flick almost. So on the round before that, I had even ride height, so washer at the top, washer at the bottom, and that was giving us rear slide. So stop that, I dropped the front. It hasn't worked. Zach's come back in and complains. So if you put the camera down here, so when you look at this kingpin, there's your two washers basically. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it back to how it was before, which is a neutral ride height. So top washer goes in, catch it with your kingpin.
Listen man, I ain't so dumb.
And then slide the bottom one in. Right, so now we're on neutral ride height. So you've got one washer there, one washer there. When you're in the wet, so a wet setup, you would have both washers at the top, and what that does is raises your front for a wet setup. For a dry setup, obviously you either want it neutral or as low as you possibly can. It's really hot out there today. So that is going to basically back to how it was. We'll see what he thinks. So basically we've got another 2 sessions. So I'll put him back to how he was with neutral ride height, see if that's any better. If it's not, then what I'll do is I will change his casters from a 2 dot to probably 3 dot possibly, I'm not too sure, but I'll work that out. So that's basically what ride height means. Low, medium, high. Well, actually it's low, medium, high. Right. Okay, so Zach's also said that his back is bouncing and sliding. So someone asked me in the previous video about rear width of the tyres. So basically the further out the tyres, the more slide you're going to get. The more in you bring them, the more grip you're going to get. So where he's sliding, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring him in 5 mil. Okay, so if you look at ours, this is our keyway, basically. So if you remember on our first video at Wardham, we got disqualified because his wheel got pushed in, even though we shouldn't be disqualified. This is an adjustable keyway. So what you've got is you've got these little like grub screw bits here, and you can move them in and out. So it was currently set to 2 centimeters. So all I'm doing now is basically moving that in to there, put the tyre back in, or the hub, and that is now set at 15 mil. So I've gone in 5 mil, and all that's going to do is basically give him more grip on the back. Don't do the stub screws too tight because it will basically wreck the washer that's in there. I've had that before. That will basically now improve his rear grip, so we'll give him more grip on the back, stop him sliding. Fingers crossed. So there you go. That's all about the width of your rear. And then you've heard us talk about before regarding the actual valve. We tend to have, so if a valve is pointing upwards on that side, we'll point the valve down this side. I know it's very minimal weight, but it's almost like balancing your wheels. So what side, is that up or down, Mum? Love?
Bottom facing up.
Bottom facing up. So I'll have that facing down. And all you're doing is basically balancing your rear wheels just to minimise any vibrations. Whether it works or not, I don't know, but we've always done it. So that's rear width. Explained to you, further out it goes, the less grip on the back. The further in it goes, the more grip you get. Right, another thing we do when we're testing is obviously we're fortunate we carry a race engine and a practice engine. As you know from our previous videos, we're not too sure which one's the strongest yet. So for these first ones, what we've done is we've gone out on our practice engine, which is basically a Super Tune, which is Wayne. And then what we do now is it's lunchtime, I'm going to swap over to our race engine to see if Zach can feel any difference on that.
It's a scorcher of a day today. We're about to go out for practice session 4. There's 5 sessions today. So we've just had lunch break, and during that time we've changed the engine over. So we've changed from our Super Tune engine, which is called Wayne, to our Force engine, which we call Stanley. So we use that as our race engine. We're just going to see if there's any difference to Zach's performance and Zach's lap times across different engines, because sadly we still don't have the dynos for either. So we're literally, Zach is our dyno and he's telling us which ones kind of feel better. So we're literally just walking through to to the grid now. I know Zach likes going at the back, but he needs to get at the front and get some clean air so we can get some better data to see what his lap times are truly like. Currently he keeps getting stuck in traffic. We just haven't had an accurate reading of how he's doing. Sorry Miles, we've just seen that spot. You're going to have to let Zach go in front of you. Zach's going out first. Oh, it's overtaking me. I'm going on a bit of a walk around the edge of the track. It looks like you could pretty much walk all the way around this track. It'll be a long walk. I'm just heading up to the bridge area. See if I can get a better view of that, because that's the area that's always kind of out of view from the other gantries and viewing positions. Here comes Zach. And under the bridge. Going back over. This is the first year we've ever joined the Karting Championship. Last year Zach entered UKC. This year, having changed class and gone up into junior, the Karting Championship offered the junior primo round, which means those who aren't as experienced in the junior category have a championship they can race in and kind of build their experience. So Zach's entered that this year and he's doing really well. He's currently sitting third in the championship. He's got Lewis Gilbert and Elijah Hazelwood ahead of him. It's literally all to play for at the moment, and we've not been to PFI before. We didn't come to this track last year for any of the UKC sessions, so we actually came here last Friday and did a test practice to give Zach the best opportunity to kind of do well this weekend. We didn't want him on the back foot, not understanding the track or sort of knowing what it was like. So yeah, we came for a test day last Friday, gave him that experience, and it's definitely given him an advantage this week, trying to understand, say, the kart setup, how the track feels, what his grip needs to be like. So what we're doing today is we've got 5 practice sessions. We've had our practice engine on for the first 3. We've had lunch break, we've put our race engine on, and now we just want to see sort of how the race engine differs from the practice and just be sure that our race engine is in fact performing to its best currently, and maybe slightly better than the practice engine. Karting is extremely expensive. When you enter it, you just have no idea kind of how much you're going to spend, and it just kind of like trickles away. Bills come in month after month, and literally you don't realise how much you're spending until it's too late. But so we wouldn't be able to do racing at all, let alone enter a championship, without, say, sponsor support. And you might wonder why we've named our engines Wayne and Stanley. So I've mentioned on a previous video, they are beloved family members. So Wayne is my dad. Lost him a couple of years ago, sadly, to cancer. He was a huge motorsport fan, a religious watcher of Formula One. I remember as a child him getting really emotional, literally every Sunday watching the Formula One. That was back in the days of Nigel Mansell, Damon Hill, David Coulthard, and more recently he used to support Lewis Hamilton. He always used to get emotional at the end when someone did well, and I'm actually thinking I've probably inherited that trait from him, because when Zach does well I can't help but get overwhelmed and get a bit emotional. So yeah, we've named our practice engine currently after my dad, who's no longer sadly with us. Our race engine we've called Stanley. Stanley's named after my granddad. Obviously my granddad's no longer with us either. He'd be over 100 years old by now, but again, a massive supporter of me growing up, helping and being interested in anything I was doing. He would have loved that. He would have been hugely proud of he'd have been hugely proud of his achievements and what he's doing, and some of his inheritance has helped pay towards his engines, his chassis, and the other gear that he's needed. So again, it's just a nod to the recognition of the support that our family gives us, and also remembering those that are no longer with us. So I know he'd have come along, he'd have supported him, rooted him from the sidelines, just like Wayne would have done. And yeah, it's just really sad they can't join us. So this is our way of keeping them involved and giving them that opportunity to kind of be involved in Zach's karting journey, career, whatever you want to call it.
So we've got one more practice session left, but Zach's getting hungry. And you know what that means, don't you? Chip challenge time. Well, Zach, what do you think? Are you promising on this? Do you reckon they're going to beat Susan Lee at the moment? It's GYG, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, GYG with 8.5.
Yeah.
You hopeful for this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm quite biased towards it though because I've already had it and they're well
You can't
good.
tell the audience you've already had some chips here. That was last weekend.
We had some chips at GYG before we had it, and Shannington.
Yeah, that's true. So it depends on the day, I suppose. Right, let's have a look at this restaurant, shall we? So it's actually a bar and a restaurant.
It's called the
Apparently last
Torsion
night-
Bar.
What's it called?
Torsion Bar.
Torsion Bar.
Like the torsion bar on the cart.
Like it. So here's the Torsion Bar. That's where we're going to be later having a drink because Karting Championships have treated us all to a drink. And here is the cafe. And it's, funny enough, called Torsion Cafe. Let's go in and see what they got, shall we? Hiya. You still serving?
Yeah.
Right, can I please have a portion of chips, please?
Portion of chips.
On their own,
Yeah.
with just salt.
Can I get a clipper?
How much is that?
Portion of chips is £4.
£4. And the time is 12 minutes past 3. 3:13. Let's see how quick it takes. £4, not bad. How much was the chips at GYG? They were like
£6.
£6, weren't they?
£6.50.
£6.50.
Thank you.
Oh, right, okay, so it is that was 2 minutes. I've also got to pay for a clippo, please. There we go. Customer service is good. Right, let's go and try this. Right, so we need some salt, Zach. We're not putting pepper on them. The
Yeah, we
rules, no, the rules are chips with salt.
Fine.
No vinegar either. So you've got to put salt on it and try it. We can't break the rules. Presentation?
Good.
Good? Right, go for it.
Solid 9.
A solid 9. A solid 9. So there we go. Oh, where are we? That's good. That's really good. Go one more.
Can I put vinegar on them now?
You put vinegar on now. Right, so serve within 3 minutes. Zach's giving a solid 9. So the Torsion Caf at PFI, your official score is 9 out of 10. You are now in the lead of the chip challenge. Well done. I'll see Zach. See if Ollie agrees to the marking. Out of 10, Ollie, what would you rate them as?
7.
Oh, Zach's marked them as 9. GYG had 8.5. Wilton had, I can't remember. I think it was a 6.5, 7.
Yeah, the chip challenge.
Yeah.
Go on
What are you going to rate them as, Charlie?
Well,
Have a try. They're like full bed chips.
Okay. Out of 10?
9.5.
9.5?
They're banging.
Zach done it for 9. So Ollie, you said 7. I think it was a poor
I've
one.
had it again. I think it's an 8.
You think it's an 8?
8.
You're changing your minds?
Yeah.
Right, so we've got an 8 from Ollie, a 9 from Zach, a 9.5 from Charlie. However, the official grading does come from Zach. So you sticking with 9, Zach?
yeah.
Well done, PFI. Well done.
They're
You see,
like full
everyone's
bed
getting involved in the chip challenge now.
It's a good chip to be fair. I tell you what, it all depends on how much salt and vinegar you've got.
No. The rules are it's got to be a portion of chips with just salt, nothing else.
Right, salt.
Just salt.
Okay, it's a fair challenge.
This has now got vinegar on because obviously we've eaten the test. But they scored 9 out of 10. See, everyone loves a chip challenge.
Good chip. Has anybody got a 10 yet? That's what I want.
No, not yet. Not yet. So that's the end of the chip challenge. We've got one more practice left. We're not going to change the setup. On the previous one, I put the ride height back to neutral.
Chip challenge.
Chip challenge, yep, just been done. And yeah, we pulled, what did we get? 58.4,
8-4.
which is the quickest you've had all weekend. So we can leave as.
You say it all weekend, but it's only the first day.
That's it, yeah, first day, it's quite true. So we can leave as. Let's go and get our last practice done. See, I don't know what Emma's done with his camera. I feel like really zoomed in. I think she's got the zoom on. Should be here. We'll have to get that changed. Right, let's go and get the cart ready.
Okay, so once again, at PFI. I think this might be the only track in the country that has a bridge. This is a feature that Zach particularly likes and was particularly sort of excited to come and actually drive. So on our final 5th session of the day, Zach's gone out at the front again, and this time he's not come off track. So that's what happened last time, and that's why he ended up sort of 6 or 7 karts back. So he's probably on about his 3rd lap currently. And when I looked a second ago, he was still leading. Yeah, he's still at the front, so that's really good. Hopefully we'll get some accurate lap times now. Here he comes. Right, we've got a red flag, we've got a cart off. They've obviously just come under the bridge and now they're off on the verge. You might be able to see the marshal down on track with the driver. So they've released the red flag because the carts come through that bridge at breakneck speed. So they're starting to collate them all back down here. It's a driver with a white helmet on, down there. It's not Miles. Our poor mechanic's just run all the way here. Miles is at the back there, kart number 17, just gone around the bend off to the right. So I don't know who we've got over here, I can't see the number. But yeah, it's a lad with a white helmet on, dark suit. He's walking, so should be walking wounded. If they do in the session, at least that's got a few decent laps in, so we can get some decent data, find out what his lap times are like, and get a better idea of which gearing is better and which engine is better. And if you can hear the whirring, I do apologise, I've got the fan on the go, Zach gave me this as he went onto the grid earlier, because he can't drive with this around his neck. I'm sure he'd love to. He's pretty much had this on all day to try and keep himself cool, so while he's not using it, I can. So that's it, 5 practice sessions for the day finished. We're now back in the awning, and I'm just going to start putting the car away. So I'm not quite sure what the correct terminology of that is, but here he is, spanner in hand, ready to start talking through what he's about to do.
Right, so it's strip the cart down. It's not a full strip. So first you want to do is get your battery disconnected. Once battery disconnected, I basically get the fuel tank out, empty all the fuel, then get obviously all the fuel out of the car, engine off, give that a little bit of a clean to get any chain lube off it. So that goes away safely because these are championship engines, they're worth a lot of money. We don't want to start leaving them in the car for something, and we have known a track before where engine got taken. So once that's done, it'll just be a proper tidy up, clean up, check the brake pads, check all the nuts and bolts, check the front steering, check the tracking, and then go to my 4th drawdown and have my whiskey. So it's been a good day today. I hope you enjoy the video. We've tried to include as much mechanicking in it for as we possibly can. I know we've got more to give you. We will slowly bring those mechanical tips into the videos as we go. So this is part 1. Hope you enjoyed it. Tomorrow's going to be part 2. Thanks for watching. And remember, subscribe, because 60% of you who watch us don't subscribe. It really means a lot to us and helps us. It gets these videos out there. So give us a subscribe, give us a like, and we'll see you tomorrow.